welcome back to another episode of the Average Joe's podcast. I'm your host, George, and again here with co-host of the Average Joe's podcast, Harrison Roberts at New Balance by Harry. Just thinking, actually, I was going to say, we could have done another unboxing today, but I don't know where they are.
Upstairs. Yeah.
I was going to say, maybe we'll have to save that for another day, when you've probably bought a lot more.
Yeah.
So, again, we actually wanted to try and keep last week's more light-hearted.
Yeah.
Although, I think we're going to try and do that with today's. Mm-hmm. We wanted to just do a Q&A, but some of the questions I do think is going to take it down another little path.
Okay.
But we'll give them a go. But like we said we were going to talk about last week, the feedback we've had from that video, again, has been really good. Yep. I've had some really positive, I say positive, I've had nice messages of support from my, I was going to call it an outburst, but it wasn't really an outburst, it was just, the thing is, what I've said to people is that I had no idea what question you was going to ask me at the end of that podcast. So what came out of my mouth was just raw.
Yeah,
I didn't have time to think about it.
No, we didn't even plan, did we, to be fair? No. Like what we was going to do, we just went into it. And I think before we started filming, we was like, let's write down 2 questions. So that, I hadn't thought that question until we was talking. And I thought, you know, I'm just going to fucking ask it and see what response we get.
I spoke to Jake the day after it came out. He sent me a really nice message again. You know, one of the most... I've got a lot of supportive friends, and he's definitely one of them. And he said it was probably better that you didn't know what the question was going to be. Yeah. Because if you had known, you would have planned your answer and planned what you wouldn't have wanted to say. Yeah. I kind of just let it out. So, yeah, that was... I was really nervous to put that out. Because I knew like my family would see it, and they would probably be a bit upset by it. Not in a negative way, just realising how I do feel about certain things. But it's out there now. It's out there for all to see. But it was a good episode, I think, and got so much feedback from my question to you as well about the advice that you would give the boys. Maybe not so much the first bit about only the ugly ones settle down. However,
did people comment on that, saying about it?
The not so much that bit, but
did I
they understand the concept behind it. But it's more the your view and outlook on life more than anything is what people understood, I think. So just the new Average Joe's mascot on the floor down there.
I'm not going to try and get up and try and get
No. Harry has got a kitten this week. A little Dustin.
I'll have to pop a little photo up, like
here, like we did of Rupert.
Like here.
Yeah. Very, very cute little kitten. And it had to be named after Stranger Things, of course.
Yeah.
But anyway, should we go straight into this Q&A?
I think let's just get it over and done with.
Because, like we said, we could potentially have a very interesting guest on this evening. Yeah. We decided to just get started because we're not sure if they're going to arrive because they were pretty busy tonight, from what I was, from my understanding. But they said they'll try and come through on their way.
Yeah, it's going to swing by.
Yeah, they're going to swing by at some point. So yeah, let's get into some of these questions. I'll read them all off, and we'll just go for it.
Yeah, let's go for it.
So let's start off with a bit more light-hearted ones. If I can find some.
Ones that are appropriate.
Yeah, some appropriate ones. I think Tom Rogers gave us some interesting ones on here. Okay, so we've got quite a few like fashion-related ones.
Okay.
So let's go with this. I thought this was a really good question because we both worked for Choice like over 10 years ago now. So somebody asked us. I want to get the exact one. Here we go. If we was to go back to Choice now and we had to put an outfit together, but wear today, what would it be?
If we went back to Choice now,
Yeah.
with the current stock that they have,
No.
old
So the
season
stock that we had 10 years ago.
Yeah.
But we would have to wear it in like today's times. What would you choose?
Personally, I think their brand portfolio is really strong. What it was back in the day.
Yeah, definitely.
Like to work for Choice was like you had a bit of a status about you, which is stupid because it's only a retail store. But there was that.
There was that like Choice Boys.
Yeah, exactly, the Choice Boys. Yeah.
But name attached.
I would, looking back at the stock that we did have, I would have just gone all out Stone Island.
Yeah.
Stone Island or CP, something to get like the old school like Stone Island denim, nice little like overshirt maybe, jacket. I remember like when I first started at Choice, like they used to have like I went up onto the mainline section, which was like all their premium product. That's where like their premium.
We worked up there together, didn't we?
Yeah. And like we absolutely smashed it up there. Like I remember like changing like the layout and stuff like that and the structure, and then bringing Moncler and Stone Island down to the front, D squared, like Prada back in the day.
Yeah.
And then moving all the suits to the back, and we smashed it. Like absolutely killed it.
Yeah.
But like all that, like you used to be able to pick up like a heat sensitive jacket for like 500 quid.
Yeah.
Like 10 years ago. Now, like you're looking at that for a basic crew neck jumper.
Yeah.
So if we're talking about current prices,
yeah,
then I'd probably just end up buying Ralph because it's cheap. But if we're looking at like old school Stone Island and old school Choice, definitely I would have been kitted out in Stoney.
I feel like I'd end up going quite roadman if I was there now. If I was picking an outfit from back then, because I would probably, although I don't know, it is such a good question because I don't know whether I would be Moncler puffer jacket, with some True Religion jeans, or would I go G-Star jeans?
Oh yeah. Franklin and Marshall hoodie.
Yeah, it's just like would I go G-Star jeans with like we used to sell Vans and everything, didn't we? So like would I go with G-Star and some Vans? I don't know. Like
depends on the budget as well.
I don't necessarily think we've got one with this, but if I was putting an outfit together, I think you're probably right with Stone Island. Like I'd probably kit out in Stone Island.
Yeah.
And some America's Cup Pradas.
Yeah, I think, especially working in retail, like just touching on Stone Island, that brand will fizzle out completely. It's so out of reach now.
Yeah.
In the sense of that, from a price point perspective, the quality of the product's always going to be there. It's technical sportswear, like the fact that they have a special scientific team, like that researches like certain garments. They have an archive that like spans back like 40 years. Like it's so relevant, like back then and today. But the reality is that where it's been brought out by Moncler now.
Yeah.
Like and the brands that are associated with Moncler and like the brands that have got to sit adjacent to Moncler, and it's just going to be completely out of price.
Too many politics behind it now.
That's what retail is politics.
Yeah.
Brands is just politics. So it's such a shame because the product is amazing.
Yeah.
But I think as soon as they got Drake to start pushing it and like sponsoring Drake and stuff like that, like or him just, I don't even know if he was sponsored by him, but he was kitted out in it like in every show and tour he done.
Yeah.
Just absolutely killed it off.
Yeah. It went very, very mainstream, didn't it?
Yeah. I remember like speaking to somebody within like the fashion industry, like quite high up, and they were saying that the brand literally doesn't want like the youngsters wearing it, popping wheelies down the high street, being like chucked onto TikTok or whatever. Like any of these streaming platforms, like social media platforms, has absolutely like annihilated that product, annihilated the brand. But the origin of the product, the origin of the brand, no one could tell you. If I was to ask all these little 13-year-old chavies with like £300 in their back pocket for their birthday present, what does the brand mean? Why has it got like the badge? No one would be able to like give me any information.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
It just frustrates me. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I know. That's something that's always, especially Stone Island in particular. That brand, it like really stresses you out in a way because
massively. I don't even know what.
Yeah, but I don't know. Yeah, you really do get wound up.
Yeah. It's because looking back in the old days, that was my bread and butter from a retail perspective, and that's the only brand that I really bought into. Like I invested myself into. Like I look at like New Balance now, and like they put a video up on their New Balance website. And it's about their lifestyle range, which is like obviously by their new creative director Teddy Zanatis. I think we touched on it last week, but
Yeah.
it's not so much about the brand. It's about like the heritage behind it, like the message behind it, like the technicality that goes into it, things like that. Like I buy into that kind of product. I buy into that message instead of it just being quick, fast, throwaway fashion.
Yeah.
You look at Stone Island jackets from like 2002, 2001.
You bought quite a few bits of it recently, didn't you? You bought a load of vintage pieces, Stone Island pieces.
Bought loads of vintage bits. Yeah, and then I just end up selling it all.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to be. It sounds horrible and bad. I don't want to be associated with that product.
Yeah.
Because it's just all the little chavies that come in.
Yeah.
They come in, they'll buy something. At the end of the day, you're semi-half high because all the £5 notes stink of weed.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it's that kind of stuff. It's that kind
of
association which has killed it off.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Sorry, having a bit of rant there. Whoever sent in that question, that was a great question.
Yeah, that was.
It leads on to start. If you ask another fashion question, it's going to lead on to Stone Island.
Well, I have another one.
Okay.
It's like, what do you think is a timeless clothing piece?
Piece, one piece.
Yeah, that's what it says. So.
Me personally, I always think that you should always have a staple striped t-shirt in your wardrobe for every season, summer and winter. That's it. Striped t-shirt or a denim jacket.
Interesting.
I think a nice fitting. I mean, I bought that one on and I wore it on Dan's episode. I haven't worn it since.
I mean, there's fitted and then there's
there's
that.
Then there's shrunk.
Yeah.
I bought it on Depop. Like it was a large. I thought I'll squeeze into that bad boy. Like it's an American brand. Like I thought it'd be a little bit more like boxier.
Yeah.
Got in. It probably is boxy. It's just my darbs is just too big.
Yeah.
Like, I just completely and utterly like.
I think for me, a timeless piece, which I think will like withstand the test of time forever, is a Levi 501.
Oh, classic. Yeah.
Yeah. I think like
I was going to say black t-shirt.
Yeah, no. I mean, I live in black t-shirts anyway, but no, the 501.
Yeah, great jean.
By Levi's is just. Yeah, it's just that would just be there forever, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Any heavy like ounces denim is always going to be a great one.
Yeah.
Straight fit.
Now we've got the same question, but when it comes to a pair of shoes, so it says a timeless. So we'll answer one or the other of this, right? Actually, no. We'll go for this one. Then there's two that are similar, but we can ask it as one. So a timeless silhouette and colourway of shoe. I think for me, it's Air Max 95.
Okay.
I just think, yeah, like all the 110s if you're watching it from Liverpool. And I think the neon green.
But do you not feel like it has to be worn right? Like it has to be with
definitely
the right
has to be
outfit,
worn right, yeah. But I just feel like that shoe is like. I could never put it on the same category as a Jordan 1 85, but it's just an OG. Do you know what I mean? But you could probably say the same with the Air Max 90s. Like any of those sort of Air Maxes.
Yeah, I think if you're looking at it from an Air Max perspective, I think it's either Air Max 1 or Air Max 97s. I think they will just go with anything, but it has to be like the right shoe. It's like it's all well and good. Like they bring out like an abundance of colorways, like these big like retailers that are associated with like these brands. They do a lot of like work with them, so they'll make exclusive colorways for that particular like retailer. But the reality is that when they start over commercializing it and start pumping that product out, it completely and utterly kills off what the product's about.
Yeah.
So, I mean, again, I think I've said this before. With an Air Max, say for example, Air Max 1, it has to be like the original, like red, white, and grey colourway.
Yeah.
Air Max 97, silver bullets.
Yeah.
With the red tick. Like same with like the Air Max 90, 95's only in neon.
Yeah.
If you're gonna rock them trainers, I think it has to be simple colourways.
Yeah.
It's when you start like whacking like greens and purples and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But if it was me now, I feel like that's a difficult question to answer because. Like back in the day, like I used to wear Stan Smiths. Yeah. Like a plain white pair of Stan Smiths.
Because you could even say like a Cortez.
Yeah, yeah.
The white, red and blue Cortez. Well, I've had them. Yeah.
Yeah, you've busted them out. It's such a hard question because it depends on like where you're at in yourself. Yeah. And not what you're like. If you're not wearing a Jordan, I don't really know what you're wearing.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Recently, you've been like rotating.
I have been wearing a few New Balances, but then
and again, Air Max ones.
And my Air Max 1s, yeah.
That look,
so
yeah.
I've been trying to change it up because when I had like my mini meltdown like a little while ago, I sold every single pair of Jordans I owned. I've got like a few pairs left. Got the Travis 1 Fragment Lows, and I kept the Off-White 4s, the sale colourway. And then I kept these, I think they call like neutral grey or natural grey Jordan 1 Lows. Literally picked them up for retail and I wear them all the time. They just go with like anything really.
Like little beaters, aren't they? Really?
Yeah, I just literally wear them,
beaters.
just knock around in them. But yeah, I do want to start getting back into shoes really at some point. But I feel like I needed that clear out to try and like figure out like who I was again when it comes to like fashion. I haven't even got to that point yet. I just wear black t-shirts every single day and just wear different pair of trainers. But
do you know what you just said there? You hit the nail on the head. I always say that it's not about the product or the style that you're rocking. It's about the individual. So when you're comfortable in yourself and you're comfortable in the clothes that you're wearing, you wear the outfit instead of the outfit wearing you.
Yeah.
I watched this TikTok the other day of this lady. I don't know who it was, but she was basically saying that you can be fashionable. Money can buy you fashion, but it's whether or not you got like you're clued up and you're trendy.
Yeah.
Like I'll people will walk past and I'll see them and I'll look at them. They might be like somebody rocking out like an old school emo outfit, or like I even like rate people that like just go completely and utterly like, is it left wing? Is it?
Yeah.
Like, that,
Left
like,
or right wing.
Yeah, left or right. Like they're just like completely and utterly one way or the other. But because at least they're comfortable in themselves.
Yeah.
Like, and then that way it's more about like them instead of the outfit.
Do you know the somebody that I rate for that on TikTok as well is that Fragrant Nerd? Is it Fragrant Nerd?
Yeah.
Like he doesn't give a fuck,
Nope.
and like, he rocks all these like weird and wonderful Japanese brands. Like he wears anything really. Like
yeah.
He loves like all stuff that like everyone else doesn't really. I mean, it's sometimes a bit peculiar how he puts things together.
But I can understand it.
But yeah, but like I see where he's coming from. And he always pairs his outfits with a different fragrance.
Yeah, definitely.
So he is pretty cool. But yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. We'll do like a couple more fashion related ones. Actually, no, this one I actually think ties in quite nicely with how you just answered that last one. It says, as self-confessed chubby guys,
Yeah.
how do you feel about your body and appearance?
Do you want me to answer this one first?
Yeah.
I am not happy with how I look. I'm very, very self-conscious with the way that I look. And even doing this podcast, like I think that's one of the things that I struggle with as well when I'm doing the editing, is that I physically have to look at myself. Like, I always think back to like 10 years ago when I was in my prime, if you like slim, like fresh tattoos, like no tits, no derby, no double chin, like look at me teeth all over the place, like a bag of chips, like it's all that kind of stuff. So it's a lot of like, but in saying that, looking at myself doing this podcast selfishly, I am becoming a little bit more accepting of who I am or how I look, if that makes sense. But on the flip side of it, I know that if I wanted to do something about it, I could do something. Like there's no, it's just laziness.
Yeah.
I could turn around and say to you, I've got no time or whatever else, and I think I've said this before, but the reality is if I really want to do something, like I have, like, and you have as well.
Yeah.
Like I'd walk to work. It's like, I don't know, it'd take me like an hour and a half. Stop drinking like fizzy drinks. I tried to do it for a little while, didn't I?
Yeah.
I'm back on the Coke again.
Yeah.
Not the good stuff, the other like,
yeah.
delicious,
Not the
like,
hard
dark,
stuff.
Yeah, the delicious black nectar that is Coca-Cola. But like I could make them changes, but I don't want to.
Yeah. No, I get you.
I do want to, but I'm just like I feel like yesterday I'll make an excuse.
Yeah.
Like we've got no staff. I'm busy.
Yeah.
It's bank holiday Monday. I'm like, oh, get me a Coke, give me some energy.
Yeah.
So we're having a bottle of water.
Yeah.
So
no, I get that. I'm like pretty much exactly the same. Like constantly reminiscing about old photos of me like 8 years ago, 7.
We've
6.
done it for this.
We literally did it before the podcast.
Yeah,
I was like, God, look at this. Like my hair looked nice here. Like I look nice there. I even look at myself sometimes with pictures when I have barely any tattoos, and I think I wish I didn't have any now. I don't know if you do the same. And I wish like I was blank canvassed, and I don't know. Like,
do you feel that's why like you're doing a lot of your like blacking out because of
I don't know
you being
like,
unsettled in yourself? or like and
there was a
your
lot
own
of
body
things
image?
like when I was. I mean, the only reason I started getting tattooed was because I thought I'd fit in with a certain crowd of people at the time, and I thought, maybe if I do this, like, I don't know, and that was the only reason I started getting tattooed in the first place. So it wasn't even necessarily because I wanted to get tattooed,
Right.
And that was just a pure self-conscious decision to make. But yeah, no, I agree with back to the actual question, like how we feel about our body and appearance. I'm exactly the same. Like watching the podcast back, I'm like, God, look at my tits. Like my t-shirt stuck under it.
Yeah.
Like, I remember. Do you know what? I remember such an early memory
Tit was
as
making
well.
an escape.
Talking of tits, though, right? When we worked at Choice, I don't know if you remember this because you kind of comforted me when it happened, right? God, this is so embarrassing. But I remember once coming in, I was so conscious. I had a white Ralph polo on. I was so conscious about like my tits and like my nips, right, like my burger nips, right, that I'd sellotaped around my body, around my tits. I don't know if you remember. And you, right, because we were friends at the time, right, you went to pinch my nipple, and you was like, "What the fuck's that?" And I was so embarrassed, like I just wanted to go home. And you comforted me like, "No, like I get it." And then that was when you said to me about like, "No, I've got tits as well." Like, I don't. Do you remember?
I think I vaguely do.
I remember it being so embarrassing. Like at like 17 years old, I felt that I needed to sellotape around my body.
I've been there, mate. Like,
Yeah.
I remember like when I was at my chubbiest. Like, well, I'm probably at my chubbiest now. Well, but I remember like thinking if I buy like them skin tight tops, you know, like
and then
the
wear it
Under Armour,
underneath the top, yeah.
and then wear it underneath like a black t-shirt, it will hide my chest. But you just go through them phases. I definitely am a lot more self-accepting of who I am. I
Yeah.
embrace my breasts. Like
I'm kind of like, since doing the podcast, like you said, like just a bit more accepting, like still doing things about it behind the scenes. I know I can do it if I want to, but it's just about, I don't know, I feel like when the time's right, we will do it. Does that make sense? So, I have a little kitten trying to join me. Come on.
come here.
I want to get him on the pod. Come on.
Just having a little mad 5 minutes, isn't it?
Come on. Okay. We'll cut that bit out.
Yeah.
Okay, so back to the fashion side of things. Most overrated silhouette and colourway of a shoe.
Of a shoe. Most overrated.
Overrated. I know instantly what I'm going to say.
Go on.
Air Force One.
Yeah. Yeah.
White Air Force Ones. Overrated. So overrated.
And do you want to know why they're overrated? It's because people wear them to death. If they kept them clean and kept them box fresh, and when I say box fresh, I don't mean like leave them in a box and just look at them and take them out and look at them. It's like actually take care of your shoes. It's when like the colour starts to discolour, the leather starts to go manky, the toe box creases to fucking shit, like the sole, midsole's like yellow. It's disgusting, and people are still busting them out of a pair of skinny jeans and a Hollister's polo. Like,
Yeah.
I beg you, please just throw them away.
Yeah.
Spend the £75. It's when people get them cleaned as well, and then they'll put like a false filled, like false filled in the
Crease
toe,
defender.
crease defender and stuff like that. Like come on, like just.
They are a shoe that they are like the fast fashion of the shoe world.
And if you're over a 7.5, sorry, do not buy them.
Yeah.
There's no point. Like,
Yeah.
They look like bloody boats.
They're the fast fashion because you got so many people that will wear them once and get rid of them. Like especially, and the problem is that like rapper. This is why they're £100 now.
Like
I remember when I was at school and they were like 50 quid. And now rappers have made it so popular to wear them once and get rid of them that they have become fast fashion. Like people like if you're gonna do that, there's a great in London. I can't remember the name of it now, and this is like we'll plug them, but I don't know. I can't remember the name of it. That's really gonna do. It's called Resole London. You take any of your old shoes in there and it gives them to the homeless. Like just do that. Like as soon as your shoes are too beat, just take them there. Like if you're not gonna do anything with them. But yeah, they have become the fast fashion of the shoe world.
Yeah.
Any other ones that you can think of?
I'd say like any of the Balenciagas.
Mm.
I would say that they're definitely overrated.
Yeah.
Like the Sock Runner, the Triple S. Don't get me wrong, I'm not sitting here spitefully saying it because I can't afford a pair, but I just don't think they're a bit of me.
Yeah.
And like they're such a hype shoe. Oh, do you know what was? Do you know what was?
Go on.
The Alexander McQueen.
Yes.
The Alexander, them chunky sole. Like every fucker had a pair.
I can say that I never owned a pair of them, but
Never.
I did have some Balenciagas. I had Balenciaga Arenas in like petrol blue. They're like the ones that had like the really fat tongue. Do you remember? And they had like the loops.
Oh yeah.
They did the highs and lows.
Yeah.
I had a low pair in like petrol blue.
Yeah, either that or personally, this is nothing against the shoe, completely and utterly like massively hit. Like I'm like, do you know what I'm trying to say? Like I'm just gonna fucking say
I don't know what you're trying to say.
The mallets.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I sell them. I see him come in and out. Or like people will come in and relentlessly buy them.
Yeah.
They're a top seller. Like they are a great shoe in the sense of what he's trying to achieve.
Yeah.
But they're just overkilled, and I personally think overrated.
He has hit that
Niche
luxury market at
Yeah.
an affordable price.
Yeah, and he's fucking killed it.
Yeah.
Like killed it. Kids are literally like, and adults like, and grown ass men like 50 years old. Like, I'll buy a pair of mallets.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong. Like some of them that will come through. Like, I completely and utterly get it.
Yeah.
Understand it. Like you said, he's hit that niche. He's hit that market bang on the head. But I just don't rate him.
Yeah.
And again, people are going to look at me knowing that I do New Balance and think, who the fuck, like, who am I to talk?
No, I think I've always said they're not a shoe that I would wear, but I respect him as a businessman and what he's done with the name that he had.
100%, yeah.
And I do kind of like the story behind the shoes. Like they're all named after something that's relevant. It's like a
streets that he grew up
streets
in,
that he's walked and stuff like that. Which I think it just adds some DNA like to the product.
100%, yeah.
But
heritage to the product.
Yeah,
it makes it local as well.
Definitely.
Which is what we struggle with, especially down south. Is that we don't really have any brands. Well, there are some brands kicking about, like more like southern brand. It's more southern products, but he's really got something there. But I still stand by what I said.
Yeah, no, it's all opinion based, isn't it?
Not knocking it.
On the flip side, most underrated.
New Balance 990 V3s.
We'll just stick with that one.
What about you?
Most
Oh God,
underrated.
look at the size like moth.
Shit the bed, I hate moths. I fucking hate moths. I'd rather be in a room of spiders than a room of moths. It's fucking massive. I'm trying to ignore it. I'm glad I've got a hat on because I can't see up.
Yeah.
Most underrated shoe for me. I don't know if I can answer that. I don't know. No, I'm a bit blank on that one. To be
Reebok
honest.
workouts.
Yeah. No, there was. I can't. I always used to really like the Nike woven footscapes.
Great shoe.
Yeah.
Absolutely great shoe.
Absolutely adore them.
Yeah.
And they never really took off.
No.
Okay, so what do you want? Do you want another fashion one, or do you want to go a little bit?
Just go a little bit. Go off.
Go off topic a little bit.
Yeah, I think so. We've answered a few fashion ones. Thank you for them questions.
Yeah,
great
thank
questions.
you to the people that asked those questions.
Really good questions.
I've got. Okay, right. So we've got an interesting one here.
Okay.
And it's for you.
For me.
Just for you. It says to Harry.
Okay.
Right. However, it might not go as deep as it did last week, but someone wants to know.
Was that out in the kitchen?
No, it's there. I can see him.
Fucking.
To Harry. What do you see when you look in the mirror?
don't really know. It depends on the day. If I'm feeling confident, then I feel like a confident, sexy man. If I'm having a ropey day, then just like a chubby dad. The thing is, that question for me is that I think when I asked you that question, it was more so to probably slam the brakes on or give you something to think about, because I feel like you're so caught up in the rat race, like we touched on last week, and you're so caught up, like I said, in making a success of yourself, that you don't really give yourself time to stop and look around. Don't get me wrong, over the last year, 6 months, where you've kind of been indoors and you've been working on set off, I think you've kind of neglected yourself in that sense, and therefore that's taken a toll on your mental health. But I mean, for me, I've always kept quite busy, and like I don't really know. Like it depends on what kind of context, in the sense of, am I looking at it from more of a fashion perspective? Am I looking at it more from a dad, like me being a dad? Like, am I looking at it from a work perspective? I'd have to break it down. If I was to do them 3 categories, like say for example, like fashion, I think I could do better. I think, but then again, a lot of that is dictated by the fact that I haven't got that extra cash. Don't get me wrong, I'm buying trainers like weekly, but to build up. But that's just, I need to start treating myself and looking after myself. Yeah. Or give me, and this sounds worse than what it is, but give me something like it gives you that buzz. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. From a dad perspective, I think I try my best from being a dad, I try my best to give my kids everything that I possibly can, to be there for them, to create a safe environment for them, in the sense of having like that home. Like, as everybody knows that's watching this, like my upbringing wasn't the best in the sense of my relationship with my dad, but I think that's my drive to really make sure that I'm always there for Mason and Ezra, and that's why I literally see Mason like down the middle, 50-50. Yeah. To the point that child maintenance won't even, I don't pay nothing, because I give Mason that quality of life when he's here. Yeah. So I'm happy in that sense. I wish obviously I could do more for my kids, but I'm content with where I am and where they are in their lives. From a work perspective,
now you stumbled.
Yeah, I know I could do more, but I feel like I put obstacles in the way. I feel like I hide behind the kids a lot.
Yes.
And
exactly the way that it should be said.
Yeah.
Because you say to me, I won't do it because of the boys. You have like your routine with the boys now, and it works. However, that comes at a sacrifice to your own personal progression.
Yeah.
And I think regardless of what you do as a job, you still will find a way to give Mason that 50-50 quality of life.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have to stop yourself at that. Is
yeah.
Obviously, I'm not in your position, so I don't know how hard it is to. It's easy for me to say, but it might not be so easy to do. So
yeah, I'm just scared. I think if I'm being brutally honest, I'm just scared of.
Yeah.
I feel like I've created an environment, especially in my current workplace, where I don't really like criticism. Maybe that's because I'm scared of. I take things personally. Do you know what I mean? Like I take my whole being over the last 15 years has been retail. So if someone was to come in and criticise what I do or the environment that I've created, I'll take that personally, because I've given my heart and soul to that store or to that business or whatever. So yeah, maybe. So therefore, I don't like that. I don't like putting myself in them positions. But then again, I'm never going to grow. I'm never gonna know what my full potential is if I don't put myself out there. So I think definitely looking in the mirror, I know I could. Like, if I was to answer that question in a nutshell, I know I could do more.
Yeah. No, that's good. Yeah, I think you answered that.
I think that's the first step as well, like knowing that what.
Yeah.
I know areas that I need to improve on, and like even like with my mental health and stuff like that. When like you said about Jake, like messaging you.
Yeah.
He sent me an absolutely lovely message.
Yeah, same for me.
Yeah, and I've had loads of messages, like really nice messages. Like Sam commented on on our story today, like, you know, like speaking with these people, doing these podcasts is making me realise what I need to improve on. Not for myself, but for the sake of my kids.
Yeah.
And I think definitely from a work perspective, if I'm happier at work, then they will be happier at home.
Yeah.
So it all ties hand in hand.
100%. I think for me, like the messages that I received from last week's, like my sister's definitely hit me the hardest.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, she always knows how to get me anyway. She did it on, I think it was like my birthday a couple of years ago. I still can't even look at that card, like, without crying. Yeah. She fucking just, I don't know how she does it. She's like one of the only people that can really make me question a lot.
But it's good to question, you know, like people are out there to make you question, be the devil's advocate, because that way you're constantly improving, you're constantly... It's all about self-reflection, isn't it, really? And seeing what you could do better in.
We'll do a few more, because we've got a question here which ties in kind of with that. And two people kind of asked the same question. So that question was, what do you admire the most about each other? And then the other one was, what do you love most about each other? So, like, no homo, but I'm not going to tell you what I love. But I'll tell you what I admire. And you kind of just answered it. Is really just how it comes down to your whole relationship with Mason, really. I think there's a lot of things that we've spoke about, which I won't talk about. But it's the reasons why you are so adamant that you will not give up a second with that boy. Do you know what I mean? Like, you will just not. There's if it doesn't work to the 50%, like, it's not good enough. Yeah. And I think that's something that I really admire, because the stress that you go through to make sure that happens, like, I see it firsthand. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And I think that, yeah, that's pretty admirable in my eyes. Yeah. Other than that, it's not really fucking much I like about it, to be honest.
It's hard to pinpoint one thing with you. Like, in the sense of, like, no, like I've known you for a long time. And, like, I think even, like, from such a in such a short period of time, like I said, it's more like been like a brotherly relationship instead of it being like friends. Yeah. We've been through a lot, you know, like the best times of my life have pretty much been with you. Like, going on nights out, like going to Bournemouth, like with David and like the old boys, Conky and all them guys, and working through Choice, and we had a bit of a touch and go relationship for a few years. Yeah. But
I think that comes down to a lot of immaturity on my part, which I have said to you before.
Both parts, mate.
I won't. I'll never take full responsibility for it. However, I can take partial responsibility for it. But yeah, we have had many of our good years together. But I think our relationship was completely different from when we started working together again. Because when you came to Mercedes, it wasn't really for long enough for us to build the relationship like we have now. But it's such more mature a relationship now than it was back then. But
yeah, I think if I was to put it on one thing, like one, if I was to say the one thing that I really admire about you is your determination to succeed, regardless of what obstacles you have to face, and your ability to adapt to an extent. Or your willingness to adapt. Yeah. That's the word. Like, you're able to adapt to anything, but you literally, it's whether or not you want to. Yeah. We say it all the time at work. Like, it's just, but when you're passionate about something, you give your heart and soul to it. Yeah. And that ultimately reflects in like all of your friendships, like the people like David and Harry and whoever else that Luke that you've known for years. Do you know what I mean? I think that's something that they'll agree on as well. Yeah. Is that, regardless of whatever I need you for, whether it's coming and holding a spirit level straight, or like helping me get out of a situation, or dragging me out of clubs after I've been beaten up like by like 5 geezers kicking the shit out of me. And you're saving me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I can wholeheartedly say that I can rely on you 100%.
Yeah.
You're the only person that I could go to with full confidence and know that you've got my back 100%.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that. I always like to think that regardless of, and obviously I said this in the podcast last week, I have alienated myself from people over the last few years, and that was down to a multitude of things. One, I said about my insecurities of being like trying to be successful and thinking that I can't enjoy myself until that day comes. Probably thrown in the mix with some social anxiety that I developed through probably self-esteem, a lot of things. And I remember a text that I sent to David not that long ago, and he was having like a party that he really wanted me to go to, and I didn't go. And somebody at that party had texted me saying, I really think you should come. Like, I think it would mean a lot to him, and I still didn't go. And I remember texting him the next day saying, like, please don't give up on me. Like, and I just remember sending him that text, and I was just like double sad. Like, I just think like, regardless of whether I'm not there at all these things, if somebody like really needs me, like I will be there.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I know that he would have loved me to have been at that party. Like, but like when shit really does hit the fan, I like to think that anybody could call me whenever and I'll be there.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
Like I would drop anything for my friends, for my family.
Yeah. In
like real times of need.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, no, I remember that, and that was a bit of a shit time. But we're working on it. That's the main thing. So this is like the reversal of that.
What do I hate, babe?
Yeah, no, it's still a nice question. We'll do 3 more questions.
Okay.
So we'll try and rattle through them. What is the moment you're most proud of in your life?
Me?
Yeah. It's for both of us. So.
Oh, okay. Will you go first?
Well, I saw this question beforehand and I thought I'm going to answer it. Well, I'm going to ask it. However, I don't want to sound like a victim or a pick-me boy or something like that. But I genuinely don't have a moment. Maybe, but this is my whole problem, right? It's just clicked in my head. Like, there are moments I'm proud of. There's moments like when I proposed to Hannah. Like, I'm proud of that. Do you know what I mean?
Opened your own store.
I opened my own store. I don't look at that as an achievement.
It's a massive achievement.
To some it might be like, and a lot of people will be proud of that moment, but I'm not. I'm not proud of many things. Like, I don't look at any of like my business achievements and think that I'm proud of them.
Why?
I don't know. It's just like a mental block. But then I forget about the personal moments that I should be proud of, because all I ever fucking think about is this whole success story.
Yeah.
Like, that has literally just clicked to me in like the last 20 seconds. Like, of course I'm proud that like I've kept a roof. Like, well, I kept a roof over mine and Hannah's head for like 2 years by myself, and then when this is when I knew she was a ride or die. When it was like business time, she took on the responsibility of those things, and like I am proud of certain. Like I said, I'm proud that I'm engaged to her. I'm proud that we're getting married, like those sorts of things. But yeah, when it comes to, I was gonna answer it like I don't have any proud moments, but I've just answered something. So actually, I've just changed my own mind on the spot.
Can I just say, from a business perspective, you should be proud of all of them moments. Everything that you've achieved. Like, look at what you've accomplished. Take a bit of your own advice and like what Jake said to you. Look back at what you've achieved.
Yeah.
Look at where you are now, the man that you are now. Don't get me wrong, you might not be a multi-millionaire.
No.
You might not be sitting on like a massive empire when it comes to a business perspective, but that's coming. But everything that you've learned up to this point now, with or without the help of mentors, you've done that on your own. Like, you've had no one stand there and hold your hand. everything you achieved with Hyams Collectives, you put that hard work into it.
Yeah.
You were the guy that was driving up and down the motorways. You were the guys that were dropping off trainers to rappers, driving into central London at like 12 o'clock at night. Make sure that you, again, were striving to keep that roof over yours and Hannah's head.
Yeah.
Like, you accomplished that on your own. Everything that you've done, you should stand back and look at what you've achieved. Yeah. Regardless if there's any even if there's nothing there physically for you to stand there and look back at what the connections you've made.
Yeah. The
experience that you took from that.
Yeah.
You'll be able to lay on your deathbed, like my granddad's story, and say, I've done that.
Yeah.
You've done that. You've had your own business. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and regardless if it was only for a short period of time, or if you wanted it to be longer or whatever, like, look at what you've taken from that, and you're now turning it into. Look at what's coming in the next 6 months.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Right, so you shouldn't sit there ever and say that you're not proud of yourself.
Yeah. From
a business perspective, obviously, personally, we know that anyway.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But definitely from a business perspective, regardless of whether you're working at Suit at the moment now, everybody has to have a success story. Yeah. Everybody has to start somewhere.
Yeah, no, you're right. What about you?
Just my kids.
Yeah.
That's just my biggest achievement. I mean, not obviously today. You've witnessed them at their worst.
Well, I had fun.
You had fun, riding them up.
You just had to deal with the aftermath.
Like full on like TFC in the living room, like punching the shit out of each other. But they are my biggest achievement.
Yeah.
If I don't make a success of myself from a professional perspective, I know that I will always do right by my kids. Yeah. Regardless of what goes on in mine and Erin's relationship. Not that we're in a bad position. No. But like, if we was to ever down the road, I don't know. Like, you always got to have a contingency plan. Yeah. But my kids will always be my main priority, and that will never change. My mindset will never change. So I pride myself on that.
Yeah. I think you show that with Mason as well. That is a very loud cat.
I don't know if his dick's out or not.
Doing a runner. Yeah. Right. What superhero would you be and why?
Me personally, I would be Tony Stark. Iron Man.
Okay. Why?
Because I don't feel like I could just be an Avenger. I'd have to be the leader.
So true.
Yeah. I don't think I could just sit back and have someone else tell me what to do.
I don't really know superheroes enough, so I'm glad you explained that. It makes perfect sense. Yeah. I would be Batman.
Oh.
Because he's rich.
He's not the hero
rich,
Gotham wants.
And he's got, is it Albert that just deals with everything? Is it Albert? Is that what he's called?
So you're looking at it from more of a lazy perspective.
No, because he still does the job.
He's not the hero that anybody wants. He's the hero that everybody needs.
Exactly that.
But you had to go down DC. I don't know why he'd done that. Like,
I don't know the difference, and I'm not into my nephew will kill me, but I'm not into superheroes.
Sorry, little man.
Sorry, Stephen, but I'm just not. Although, like, if it's going to be a I don't even know if he's a superhero, but if it's going to be somebody that my nephew loves, I'll be the Hulk.
No, do you know who I think you would be? Anybody that's watched like the Avengers films would be
Baymax.
No. Oh, Baymax is like a Marvel though.
Is he?
Yeah,
that was a joke.
No, you don't care enough. I think you'd be Thor, but you'd be Thor in Endgame.
Why?
Because he just drinks beer and he's fat and he's in his feels.
Yes.
At the moment.
That's me. I am Thor. Is he the Hammer dude?
Yeah, the Hammer dude.
Yeah, okay, got ya.
But you have to watch the end game now. Like we'll have to watch it like one night, so you can kind of see.
I'm not sure if it looks like our guest is turning up tonight. Well, actually, just quickly, thank you for everyone who asked those questions.
Yeah, some great questions there.
But yeah, it doesn't look like our guest is showing up. So, we have SpiderMan on the podcast this week. Hello, SpiderMan.
Hi.
How are you?
Done.
Have you had a busy night of fighting crime?
Nope.
No? Not much going on in Dartford tonight?
Just a
Spider-Man's aggressive.
Spider-Man, I can't hear you talking to the microphone, please.
Shush.
Okay, what do you want us to say?
Stop talking.
But we're on a podcast, so what do you want us to do?
Yeah, all we can do is talk.
Yeah.
Smack your head.
So, I've got a question for Spider-Man that we all want to ask.
Wait.
Who is
I can't
Spider-Man? Who is Spider-Man? Who is Spider-Man?
Hey.
It's you.
Spider-Man, talking to the microphone, please.
Shush. I'm trying to explain something.
Okay, talk properly.
Who is Spider-Man?
Me.
Can you take your mask off for a world exclusive?
No.
You can't. How wearable is that that outfit, that costume?
We're £1,500.
Was it? Who paid for that?
Me.
Wow.
So I stole the bank.
You stole it from the bank. Wow, I thought Spider-Man was on the right side of the law.
But sometimes Spider-Man steals the bank.
Really?
That doesn't make sense. Stan Lee wouldn't have made a character that steals from the bank and he's a good guy.
You wouldn't know.
You're hiding behind the microphone. Can you sit up a bit, please, Spider-Man? Sit up properly.
I cannot.
Do you want to take your mask off, Spider-Man, so we can see who it is?
No.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to leave this one down to Uncle George because he was the one who suggested to get Spider-Man onto the podcast. So
I just thought having Spider-Man on the podcast would be really cool.
Well, your turn.
Well, who's the worst villain you've fought, Spider-Man?
Well, Green Goblin and Spider-Man.
No, but Spider-Man, what, you fought another Spider-Man?
What was it, a fake Spider-Man?
No, real one.
Someone pretending to be Spider-Man?
Yep.
So you had a fight with them?
Yep.
So, how did the fight with the Green Goblin go? Did you win?
Yeah, well, I did have blood in my stomach coming out.
No.
You had blood in your stomach coming out?
Yep.
And what happened then? Did you have to go to hospital?
No, I just kept going.
So what, is the blood still in your stomach now?
It's sat back in.
It's sewed back in. Who sewed it in? Aunt May?
You did.
You done it. How did you do it?
Knitting.
Knitting.
My grandma let me do it.
Your grandma? Who's your grandma?
Not Zenia.
Yeah. I thought he was going to get him.
Yeah,
I thought he was going to get
yeah.
Spider-Man then.
Gonna get his identity, but absolutely not.
So we definitely can't find out who's behind the mask.
Yeah.
You're gonna do a big reveal. I'll count you down from 3. And you just take your mask off and show us who it is.
Because we've got some more questions, but we need to know who the real person behind the mask is.
We can't ask you the questions.
Let's have a look at my chin.
Just have a look at your chin. I can't see you on the camera.
Yeah.
Do you think you can take the mask off for us?
No. Spider-Man doesn't take his mask off. Spider-Man keeps it on.
Tell Spider-Man hasn't got any etiquette behind the camera either, because you just kicked the stand as well. Sit up, please, Spider-Man.
No.
I can't see your face. That's better. There we go.
You got any questions for Spider-Man?
Stop breathing into the microphone, please, Spider-Man. Okay, we'll call this one short, shall we?
No.
Spider-Man's been desperate to get on this podcast.
I
And all of a
heard.
sudden I said to him, behave.
Yeah.
Look, Spider-Man, I made the phone call. I said,
Yeah.
look, listen. I don't wait a minute, Spider-Man. Let me finish talking.
I'm Spider-Man, so you listen to me.
All right, talking to the microphone then, because no one can hear you.
Because I've had a bad day.
I can't hear you.
told
I can talk into the microphone.
Because I've had a bit bad day.
Spider-Man's had a bad day.
Yeah.
Why? What happened to Spider-Man today?
Where somebody killed me. Do you have Spider-Man?
But did you die?
No.
Did you die?
Did you win?
I put a statue up and it was the fake Spider-Man. Fix them.
So can we find out who the real Spider-Man is today?
No.
Okay, well, there's no point in carrying on this podcast if we don't know who the real Spider-Man is.
Then.
No!